Wait, what about this part? Shh.
Welcome to TBR, a podcast where two besties read. I'm Addi.
And I'm Alex, and join us as we reread,
Review,
and reevaluate our favorite books over the years.
Shh, I'm reading.
This week on TBR, we're covering The Dagger in the Desk by Jonathan Stroud, a short story between books 2 and 3. Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of TBR, or Two Besties Read. My name is Addi, and we have the one, the only, the amazing Alex!
Hello! What a lovely introduction.
Do you have a Diet Coke?
I have an energy drink tonight.
Oh, wow, this is different. You're going to be on fire.
Yeah, crazy. So get ready. We're going to be energized. What are you drinking?
What else would I be drinking?
Of course,
A
some
tea.
tea. What kind of mug is that?
It's a little gnome.
Oh, that's cute. That's adorable. A soothing chamomile?
It is not. Otherwise, I would be falling asleep during this podcast. How do you say, I'm going to send this word for listeners listening? She's going to say it, and you're going to go, ah, yes, this tea. But for Alex, I'm just going to message it to you here. How do you say this word?
I'm working here. Hold on. I am like a grandma when it comes to this stuff. Rubios?
No, that's not how you say it. I have said it that way for years. Why would you say Rubios? Because the I isn't after the B.
Wait. No. Roybos? Ruibos?
You got it right the second time. Roybos.
Well, I don't like that at all. I like Rubios better.
I say this because I had said Rubios my whole life, like an idiot. And then I had a roommate that was not from America, so, smart. And she was like, no, honey, no.
It's endearing. It's endearing to mispronounce it. That's what we're going to tell ourselves.
So anyways, that's the tea I'm having. It's actually pretty good because it's not like, I don't know. It's not like chamomile where it wants to put you to sleep, but it's not chai where it's like, oh, damn, that's spicy. And it's not like green tea where it tastes like a leaf. It tastes good.
The only tea I've tried and have semi-liked, never enough to drink it, but enough to not dump it down the drain, is gray. It's like Lady Grey.
Oh, yeah, like Earl Grey tea?
Yeah, except I'm pretty sure it had a fun name, which is why I was interested in drinking it.
You know what you should get? You should get a London Fog. It's really good. It's like a chai tea latte, but it's like Earl Grey tea instead.
Okay,
it's really good.
I'll try anything once.
You could get it at Starbucks. Just saying.
I'd rather have a frappuccino. Or a pink acai lemonade.
Oh, God. You can get a London Fog at almost any coffee shop. I found it. I didn't even know it was a thing, and then ever since I found out that London Fog was a thing, then I see it in a lot of coffee shops. I will say, the smaller local coffee shops, those ones have the best London Fogs.
I'll have to look into it.
Listeners, we will be getting Alex on the tea train if it is the last thing I do in this book portion.
At some point we'll get there.
All right, so this week we are covering a short story that actually comes between books 2 and 3, and the short story is called The Dagger in the Desk. Now, some history behind this book. It came out between the releases of The Whispering Skull and The Hollow Boy, which The Hollow Boy will be our next book, and it came out in February of 2015. Wow, what a year for us, Alex. I wonder what happened then.
Yeah, I wonder.
You can listen to the audiobook actually on The Guardian's website, and it is narrated by Jonathan Stroud himself, which was pretty fun. That's how I listened to it and read along with it. And in it, he has a little blurb at the beginning where he says that The Dagger in the Desk was written in 6 days with the help from members of the Guardian Children's website who voted on a name, a location, and even what sort of ghost it would feature. How cute is that?
That's adorable.
So, this is like a, communal story, which reminds me, at ClusterCon that happened in the fall, they also came up with a new story idea of Lockwood and Co. going to the beach, and I think that's adorable. It's just so cute.
Yeah, and there was a short story released around Christmas time.
Yes.
Just a little couple-page blurb about checking in with the trio. It was very cute.
Yeah, it was adorable. So the question this week is, what is your 5-star rating system for books? So kind of related to Lockwood and Co., but not really. Since we're not really covering a book this time, I thought we should do a bookish question.
Mine is very arbitrary, and I feel like it changes between books. A 1-star book, because you can't rate books less than a star, is this was trash. Either I didn't finish it, which is rare, or I will never read it again and I'm sad that I wasted money buying it or wasted time reading it.
Oh no, I want to know one book that you felt that way. We need a range for listeners. We need to know. The people need to know, and the people is me. And maybe our 20 followers, that's it.
I don't even know if I have one. Let me think of one, and I'll give you one by the end of this podcast.
Okay.
A 2 is like, yeah, this was okay. I'm not gonna reread it, but it was fine. A 3 is like decent. I might reread it. A 4 is like, yeah, this was good. I'll definitely reread it, but I probably won't recommend it to someone. And a 5 is like, holy shit, this was a great book. I'll reread it forever, and I'm gonna verbally recommend it to people.
You don't recommend your 4s?
If it's between a 4 and a 5, I will, but I feel like a lot of the stuff I read is from Kindle Unlimited, so it's very, like, quick reads, very arbitrary, and it's probably a good book that I'll read it again, but, like, it's just kind of out there, so I'll never, like, recommend it to someone. What about you? Hit me with your system.
Well, actually, contrary to popular belief, or popular belief being your system, I will rate books 0 stars.
That's so harsh. Damn, yeah.
I know you can't do that on Goodreads. Similar to my movie ratings, which I have a list called Never Again, which is a list of movies I will never watch again. In fact, the description for the movie list is, if this movie was playing in a room, I would actively walk out of the room. That's how much I do not like that film. If I were to say these films on this podcast, I think people would be really mad at me. We'd get a lot of opinions, so I'm going to keep those quiet. But there are maybe like 1 or 2 books that I read that were a definite 0. I actively tell people not to read them.
What books?
One book, I will name this one so no one reads it. It was called, I don't really want to say the author, but personally I hated this book. It was called The Vanishing Game.
I don't think I've heard of it.
It's like a young adult mystery book, and I will say, I was fully invested in this book. Like, fully invested for 90% of the book. 90%. Because it's like this girl, her brother just died, and then she gets, like, a year later, she gets a message from him, and he's still alive. But he's in trouble, so she needs to find him. So she has to, like, go back to her old town. There's a little romance. There's a lot of mystery. There's action. There's conspiracy theories. And she's trying to figure out what's happening. And then...
Hey listeners, Addi here. I didn't really know how to spoiler out this part, so I just put some Charlie Brown teacher noises. So just keep moving.
So she's been writing the letters to herself the whole time.
Oh no. I don't like that at all.
No, it was stupid and didn't have the heart to throw the book away, but man, I threw it at the trash can. It was so dumb. It was such a cop-out, and I think it's because I read a lot of good mystery novels that for me, it was not good. It was not worth how invested I was in the first 90% of the book for the last 10%. So, listeners, if you want to go read it, have at it. Maybe you will like it. I did not. That is a 0 star in my book. I will say 1 stars are like, not for me. Not my cup of tea. I will rate some things 1 star if it's written okay, but it's just meh. A 2 stars, it's decent, but I wouldn't read it again. 3 stars is like, this was pretty good. I see the hype. It was good. 4 is like, this was pretty good. I might read this again, potentially. I really enjoyed it. And then a 5 is like, oh my gosh, I will be rereading this. It's gonna be tattooed on the back of my head. I love this. Live, breathe this book. That's my rating system.
That's pretty good. High praise for a 5.
I mean, there's some books I love because I think they're beautifully written. I think the story's great. But I will be honest, I'm a very heavy on the 4s and the 5s with my books.
I feel pretty generous about my book ratings in general. God, I don't think I've rated anything as a 1 in a while. But, like, I know there was one book, and this is when I was using my Kindle, not on my phone. It was, like, on the actual Kindle, like, for vacations and stuff. And I can never connect to the Wi-Fi because my Kindle's old. So, like, I am stuck with the books that I downloaded. And I can't download anything new. And I have my Kindle Unlimited that I share with my mom. So, like, I get 5 books and she gets 5 books, or however many it breaks down to. So I, like, downloaded all these books, and I feel like I wasted one on this because I was like, oh, I was misled by TikTok. Book Talk got me.
Oh, no.
It was like, ooh, it's a shifter series, and it's kind of fantasy, and it's like a girl shifter, which is pretty rare. And all of this, and I was like, ooh, this sounds fun. You know, like, badass women, love it. Oh, no, it turned into, and I don't want to hate on this. This is some people's thing, and they love it. It turned into such graphic, like, orgy scenes that I could not. And I was like,
What?
I need to get rid of this book immediately.
No.
My mom shares this account. Like, I like started reading one scene and I was like, nope, like that is enough for me. And I returned it and I was like, don't ever read this, Mom. It was a mistake. Like, I don't know what I was getting into. And the description had nothing with that. There's no description anywhere being like, oh, multiple love interests or something, because that would have been like a little bit of red flag. Book Talk didn't say anything. They're just like, oh, this is the best shifter series ever. No, it was bad. I was bamboozled and embarrassed. I was like, that is not my cup of tea. No shade if it is. It just was not my cup of tea. And I did not want my mom reading that. So it's like,
Okay, so then I have a reverse question. So what's one book that's rated on Goodreads lower than you think it should be?
I don't know.
I feel like there are a lot of books that are rated higher than I would rate them.
Yeah.
I read one for book club, and I definitely rated it like a 1. And I think if I was generous, I'd rate it a 3. If I was generous. I was not feeling generous.
I don't know. I will say there's also like the nostalgia factor. So I don't think these books are written well, but they are my hangover book series that I read. I reread the Twilight series when I need to get out of a book slump because it's not great. And I was really into it at one point, and it's just very easy for me to be like, this writing is not perfect. And the world, I can snap in and snap out in a second. I realized with my Spotify premium that I can listen to audiobooks, right? So I listened to the first Percy Jackson, breezed through it. It was like, great, what's another one I can listen to? Midnight Sun. Did you ever read that one? It's the Twilight book, but from Edward's perspective. And I've read it before, and I think it's hilarious because it's just so out there. So I was listening to that, ran out of hours on my Spotify premium. I didn't realize they capped your hours. Apparently, I went way over my audio hours, so I have to wait till the next month to finish it. So I just downloaded it and read it. But it just cracks me up, and I just think it's so funny because it's not good writing, but it is like very nostalgic for me to read this and be like, ah, yes. At one point, this is so dumb. Edward talks about how ugly she looks in a sweater, and I was like, you expect me to believe that this 104-year-old man is so in love with this high schooler and is changing everything for her, but then has a whole like page about how ugly she looks in this sweater. I can't. It makes me laugh so hard. So that's a nostalgic, like, good book for me. It's probably a 3 because I think it's hilarious. Like, I know it's not a well-written book and it's probably not good at all, but I just think it's so funny. And I don't think it's meant to be funny.
I will be honest, I tried to read the Twilight series, and I'm sorry, listeners, if you have read Twilight and you really like it. It took me a year to attempt to get through the first book. I did not even finish it. I did not like any of it. I've tried the movies. I just don't think it's my cup of tea. I think anything vampire, nah. Anything zombies, nah.
Let me tell you, the 4th book, when you're learning about all of those other vampires, pretty good. Pretty good.
I think I'm fine. I think I'm fine.
That's fair enough.
I think I'm good.
That's fair.
I'll stick with my crappy romance books and my mystery novels and my occasional YA books. I'm starting into the fantasy world, so maybe there'll be some fun fantasy books.
I'm so excited for you to embark on this journey. I primarily read fantasy, so this is a whole new avenue for you to uncover. Very excited.
All right, so along with this question that relates to Lockwood Co, for our novels, I'm thinking that we should get together some research, okay, for end of the book or end of the series discussion. I need to know, Alex, what is your scary ghost scale that you are keeping for these books? Okay, when we encounter any ghost, what's your scale?
Now, we talked about this. We kind of gave it a 5-star scale when we discussed this a little bit earlier. We're going 1 through 5. 1 being least scary, 5 being most scary. 1 is like, oof, my heart's beating very fast and I'm creeped out a little bit. You know, like, just like you see something you're not really used to. See a little ghost, you're like, oh, hello there. 2 is jump scare. Like when you walk around the corner and someone's waiting to scare you and they pop out and you're like, ah.
Punch you.
Jump scare.
They punch you accidentally in the arm.
Yeah, fight or flight. Fight and flight in Addie's case. Yeah, jump scare. You need some quick reflexes on that one.
That's why we don't live near each other. It's really for your safety at this point.
Exactly. Number 3 is, hell no. Stay away, Satan. Can't do it. Number 4, this is starting to ramp up now. It's I need therapy and will forever have nightmares about this ghost. And number 5 is I am deceased. Say hello to my corpse at my funeral. I'm gonna shit my pants. I'm so scared.
Okay, mine is not as funny as yours. Maybe I should have gone first. Okay, mine, number 1 is I will sleep soundly tonight. It has some spookiness, but I'm okay. 2 is like, ooh, this is a little creepy. This is a little cool. And then 3 is spooky, spooky. I'm getting a little scared. 4 is like, I'm not too sure about this. I need to go hug mama. And then 5 is, oh, hell no. I will never sleep again. I will be awake. I will be nocturnal for all hours. So insomnia, hello.
Here I come.
Here we go again. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think at the end of the series, we have to rank all the ghosts that we've run into for our scale, along with some additional, classification.
Oh, yeah. So last episode, we covered the last chapter of The Whispering Skull, and then we explored our BBC moments, the domino moments, and our overall book thoughts. And we also had our first guest, which is really exciting. A really annoying type 3 ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I can't seem to get rid of him. He's been haunting me for 22 years. Please tell me how to get rid of this type 3 ghost. He's just the worst.
Haven't located the source yet.
No, nah. It's been really tough. I've tried many things.
Oh, poor Carson. He's gonna hear this. Or he won't.
He doesn't listen to our podcast. Listeners, you should know, Carson doesn't listen to our podcast yet because he hasn't read book 3, 4, and 5 yet. So let's all give him a hard time.
Yeah. He's really missing out. He's got to read along to join us again.
I can't wait until he finally gets to this part of our podcast and is like, wow, they ripped me to shreds after I gave them so much insightful information the last episode.
Exactly. That's the precedent we're setting with all of our guests. We're going to be really nice to you, and then we're going to shit talk you the next episode. There's only 2 besties reading here, not 3.
We are the 2. And George.
And George. In an asterisk.
Below.
And George.
The footnote. And George.
Oh, God. Yes.
All right, so for this short story, I would give a synopsis, but let's just get into it. So there's only 1 chapter.
Chapter 1.
Doing great, listeners. Unedited, we're already at 22 minutes, so.
This is the energy drink coming into play.
I'm pretty sure this will be the longest episode ever recorded about Dagger in the Desk, being the shortest short story.
Book. It's going to be 42 minutes, 1 minute a page, approximately, at least.
Jonathan Stroud, if you're listening, I severely apologize.
Yeah, please skip past the part where I mentioned the book that had an orgy in it. Please.
But please skip to the part where I mentioned we just want book 6 again.
Please. Yeah, I will take a 45-page book.
At this point, I'll take anything.
Yeah, I'll take scraps. I'll take 1 page. The size 2 font. I will zoom in. I'll do it all.
Okay, we have to dive in. All right.
Yes, chapter 1.
There's only 1 chapter, so just book start. Okay, so scene 1. They're in the kitchen. They're back from a case of the floating fingers. And I just really love that it's homey, but also, slightly concerning. Because they're like, oh yeah, there's a severed hand. And cornflakes.
Yeah, once again, I love the dichotomy that we get between home and headquarters, which I think was mentioned in the first book, where you see, just points in time where it's like, oh, we're eating in the kitchen. There's chains on the counters. There's silver over there. And then there's just a severed hand, whatever,
Casual.
on the drawing cloth. I just love that we get insights to the snapshot that they're at and that they're messy. Typical children. I think it's very funny. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door.
And Lockwood is like, oh, Lucy, go see who it is. So relatable. Lucy complains about answering the door. Why me? Why do I have to answer the door? Please no.
Lockwood has a good answer. He's stolen his pajamas, and George is covered in jam.
Honestly, I'm going to be real. I relate to George. Every single time I have jam, it is a all-over-the-face experience.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'll be very careful with the top of the lid, and then suddenly my whole entire hands are sticky. for the next, like, 48 hours.
If your hands aren't sticky, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I can't do it. That and maple syrup. No matter what, it's everywhere.
Oh.
It's everywhere.
And fruit. Quite honestly, if I'm eating an orange, my hands are going to smell like orange all day, which is lovely, but they're going to be, like, sticky, and it gets under your fingers. It's the worst, but also the best.
Okay, real question. I need listeners to answer this question as well. This is a heated debate in my household.
Oh.
Did you play soccer when you were
Yes.
little?
Of course.
What was your post-soccer game snack? Like, what did the parents bring for all the kids when you were done playing soccer?
Well, my parents told me, and all my siblings, you can either play a sport or you can play an instrument. Those are your choices, because they did not want us around the house, which is fair. I wanted to play piano. They said no. I wanted to do baton. They said no. What I did get was soccer. So I played soccer from about 5 years old to all the way through high school.
What? I did not know this.
Yes, because in high school is like fun. I was never good. Strictly rec. And I'm going to be honest, 90% of the reason I played is because we got snacks at the end. So as soon as they stopped giving us snacks at the end, I was like, let me stop you right there.
We need to rethink this.
We're not doing snacks. I'm not playing. And then they're like, okay, we'll start bringing snacks. We'll come up with a schedule. So the best snacks were the unhealthy ones, because also my parents were very big on not buying us junk food. So if I got a fruit roll-up,
Oh, the best.
and a Capri Sun at the end of the game, that is what I wanted. That was the shit. I was going to grab like 5 handfuls and squirrel it away in my bag and then like
Yes.
eat it on the way home. That was my favorite. But I did enjoy the orange slices at halftime.
Okay, you are both of them. My childhood. What was the post-game snack? Oh, yeah, chips, fruit roll-ups, Capri Suns, Oreos.
Oh, yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
trash food. Not good for you. But it made sense because you pre-worked out,
This is your little treat.
but pre-burn for the post, you know, the post-read, get it back.
Exactly.
I always remember that was the unhealthy snacks. Now, my sister and her fiance, okay? We were discussing this one day, and my sister's fiance is like, oh, no, orange slices.
As the end treat? I don't think so.
And my sister said, no,
Yeah.
absolutely not. It is junk food. And it became such a heated debate that now anytime anyone brings up soccer or any sports, we have to ask them, but what was the post-soccer snack? Every single time.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Yes. And then I kid you not, but I was at work and I was at a meeting and someone was like, oh, yeah, my kid is playing soccer. And I was like, I must know.
What is the snack?
What was the post-soccer snack? And she was like, oh, orange slices. And someone's like, oh, I always used to have fruit roll-ups. And I was like, it begins again.
Maybe it's like the newer generation that they're trying to be healthy. But yeah, orange slices or fruit were strictly a halftime snack, not an end of the meal snack.
Okay, but we think we figured it out. We figured it out, I think.
Okay.
I think it's very much a Midwestern America thing.
But I grew up in California.
Listeners, tell me if you're wrong. Tell me if you
Yeah.
like. I'm really curious about your opinions. Please let me know about the orange slices. We've noticed that people on the coast or in the South, orange slices. Everyone in the middle of the U.S., junk food. Like, I kid you not. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I guess that kind of checks out. When I was playing soccer, I was in California, so we got a little bit of both worlds there. And I'll remember, if my siblings played a game and I went because, you know, couldn't be left home alone, I would get into trouble. At the end of the game, as a younger sibling, you were allowed to go up and grab a snack. That was the rule. If there was extras, yeah. There was one time, it was my brother's game, and there were ring pops and Rice Krispies at the end.
so
I
good.
remember this vividly. And there was a little girl about my age, and I was going up to grab my little treat, and she was like, no, you can't have it. It's only for the players. I was like, excuse me?
Bitch, please.
Yeah, we almost got into a fight, but I did end up with my ring pop. It's my Rice Krispie treat. But yeah, I was about to throw hands, because I was like, But back to the book. I did have a question. Lockwood's wearing pajamas. Do you think he's a coordinated pajama guy? Like, you know how there are different types of pajamas? Some people just wear random clothes. Some people wear street clothes. Some people wear like big t-shirt and shorts that don't match. And some people have the matching coordinated pajama sets.
Oh, yeah. He does. 100%.
Okay, yeah. I thought that too. He could definitely open the door in that.
Okay, but real question. If Lucy and Lockwood got married, do you think for Christmas he would get them all matching pajamas? Or even just like Lucy and Lockwood didn't even need to be married, but do you think for Lockwood and Co. 1 year for Christmas he got them all matching pajamas?
Yes, and I bet Lucy wears it one day and then immediately goes back to like her ratty clothes or mixing and matching. George doesn't even. He like puts it on for a photo and that's it.
Yeah. And they find like something for Skull to like put on his head, and Skull's just like
Yes.
hates it the whole time.
He would secretly love it.
Lucy's like, you really need to take it off him. I'm hearing a lot of explicit language right now.
Like, he loves it. He's smiling.
Oh my gosh. Okay, back to the story. So this new client shows up, and he seems like he's stuttering a little bit. He's a little nervous, and he's talking about, oh, we had this new library open, and ever since the new library has opened, we've had problems. You don't say. Maybe be careful when you build stuff in this world.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it might be an issue.
With this client, we once again get the ignoring the children who are witnessing these hauntings. All the signs of the hauntings from this class in 2A, they smelled unpleasant odor. There was spreading chill. They were feeling dread. There was a clicking noise. And then the only thing that caused him to believe the children and what they were feeling and seeing, was that a knife was literally thrown and got stuck in his desk. And then he's like, oh, they weren't lying.
They weren't lying. Also, I'm laughing that George says, oh, what kind of clicking? What did it sound like? And I'm thinking of every time something is wrong with my car, and someone was like, well, what does it sound like? And I'm over like,
It's like a rumbling noise.
it's like a sound.
Yes.
I sound like an idiot, but I was really waiting for George to be like, oh, what does the clicking sound like? And I'm going, clink, clink, clink.
Yes, I do the exact same thing. I wish. But unfortunately, he's an adult, so he knows nothing.
But yeah, the knife in the desk is pretty freaky. And I think it's even scarier that he says that after the knife was thrown, the ghost was just standing there.
Yeah, he could see a shadow. And he felt like that it was watching him. So at least it's a type 2 at the very least. But an angry ghost. And you know what? Props to him for closing the school.
And really fast. Like, he closed it very fast. Did they say, like, how long the kids were complaining about stuff being weird?
Last month, they opened a library, then the incidents began. So about a month. It kind of ramped up. Then they decided to take the case.
In my head, though, I was like, that knife is not going to be there when they get back.
No.
But it was.
Yeah, okay. I had the exact same thought because he's like, oh, the knife should still be there. And I was like, the knife will not be there.
I was like, the knife will not be there.
Yeah.
Also, when Lockwood's like,
Spoiler
it'll
alert.
be fine. And I'm like, when is
Oh.
it ever fine, Lockwood?
Yeah, our team optimism. What I don't understand about this, I understand it's a one-off short novella, like 42 pages, yeah, just a one-off case, but it's between the point of the Whispering Skull and the Hollow Boy. So we've just had a very traumatic case for our team, in which case George almost died, Lucy almost died, Lockwood, almost died.
He's always almost dying.
Always,
let's be
our
real.
team has been in peril. But the whole reason that case for the Whispering Skull kicked off was because they weren't smart about the research and they weren't smart about the safety. So as soon as they get to this school where they're going to work on this haunting, George is like, let me make a safety circle. This is the number one rule. And Lockwood's immediately like, no, we don't need one. It's fine. What a waste of a chain. I get that it's a one-off case, but the context is so important, especially for later when they leave George alone and there's other things that happen. I'm like,
They split up. Why are we splitting up?
and George is the one to volunteer. I'm like, where is the context?
Yep.
Where's the context for this last case?
Yeah, I even put in my notes. I was like, Lockwood's being reckless, facepalm.
Yeah.
And George needs to speak up more because he's doing great at speaking up, but
Did we learn nothing?
But Lucy's like one of the only sane ones. She's like, he said when the new library was added, stuff started happening. Maybe we should go to the new library. I'm like, wow, Lucy, you are the smartest person on the team right
Yeah.
now. like, come on. So they end up going to the library. The library is, they figure out who it's named after. Actually, we should say the school is called is it Simon's?
Saint Simon's, I think? Simeon's? I don't know how the British people
Simeon's.
produce that word.
That's how you say it. St. Simeon's Academy for Talented Youngsters. For the talented youths.
That's really giving the X-Men Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters.
Now I'm going to imagine that in my head. For some reason, I have a very specific vision of what the library looks like, which we can talk about that in a second. But, like, the school, it was just very generic in my head.
Lucy starts to hear some creaking before they get in there. They notice the temperature's going down a little bit. And then they hear some clicking and limping and dragging from outside the library. Ooh. And it gets even creepier because while they're in the circle of chains that they set up to be safe, something strikes the door a couple times, at least 3 times, which is so creepy. And then finally it like fades away and moves down the hall, and they go and check, and it's like a knife or fingernails. They don't exactly know what is scoring through the door to the library, like the plaque on the library door.
I do appreciate how much they're like it's coming up the temperature readings and like how cold it is in each room, because it really shows an indication of like where the body might be.
Yes.
It's like we're figuring out the mystery as it is. I will say that like I do like the short story because it feels very much like a Scooby-Doo episode.
It does. It does very much give Scooby-Doo.
Oh, we get a mention of a previous case.
Oh, yes. The Bay House Horror.
Where she says that she saw the temperature plunge 10 degrees Fahrenheit when she walked into the attic bathroom. And it just gave her enough time to pull out a sword and act really fast. I would probably have died, I'm gonna be honest. But like that sudden chill, ooh, scary. But it gives you a little more context for the temperatures, which is cool.
I do like to see them using the temperature again, because we saw that in the first book quite a bit, I think, but we didn't really see it much in the second book at all.
Yeah, no. So they're walking through the halls. I'm just having flashbacks to school, and that's scarier than this book. So they walk past all the rooms, 1A, 1B, 1C. Lockwood makes a valid point, though, before they leave the room, that he thinks the source might not be in the library, which is a fair point because, like, clearly the ghost is just roaming around the halls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and if, like, something was wrong with the library, I think something would have happened more drastically when they were in there, and it would have been colder. So he says we need to go look around, and George says he needs to stay, and like we previously said, why are we splitting up? We never split up. Every horror movie, you don't split up.
You don't do that well, you do that in Scooby-Doo World. But yeah, don't split a crew.
Alex, I hope you know I would never leave you in a scary room.
I would never have that be an option. We would be glued to the hip. There is no Scooby-Doo.
We would be wearing our Christmas sweater.
Oh my
God. We've got to share a picture of our Christmas sweater.
Yes, for context, we had a 2-person Christmas sweater.
We won.
We did.
We won.
There was no
Listeners,
contest,
we
but
won.
we won.
We won. We won. We even made a gingerbread house while we were wearing it.
And we lost that gingerbread house contest.
Hey, but we won the best sweater competition. There wasn't one, but we won.
Yeah, in our hearts, we're winners. In actuality, that's debatable.
That was my picture for you on my phone for the longest time.
You know, it might still be my picture for you.
Is it still?
No, I have a picture of you and a piece of corn.
Checks out. Yes, so they get back to the room where the knife was, and surprise, the knife is actually still there.
Yeah, and we get Lockwood popping in with his random weapon history where he knows that it is a First World War issued dagger. Because who doesn't know that knowledge? That's trivia.
So Lockwood says that he wants to go and get some readings from other rooms and asks Lucy to start taking readings in that classroom. He leaves her, and then she's debating if she should touch the knife and, like, pick up some sensations. And I'm just here like, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it.
Yeah, she's like, well, maybe I should. And then it's like, oh, what the hell? I'm an agent. This is my job. Danger is my job. I do like how the book mentions how entranced she is when she touches it. I know this is a topic that we touched on.
Touched.
Get it? Touch fun.
You're so funny, Alec. They're so
that
great.
we've touched on that we touched on in the past book, specifically when Lucy was in Biggerstaff's house, like how dangerous it could be to be kind of half in, half out when she's touching, because she sees like the psychic visions or whatever is associated with the object. And she even said here, yeah, your head's all woozy, your senses don't quite work right. It's like waking up from a dream. It takes you a few minutes to come around. I'm glad that we finally get that context sorted, where it is kind of dangerous and she needs someone watching her back when she does it, because she's not going to be able to automatically snap back to reality if there's a danger in the present.
No, I thought that was interesting too, because I don't think I really picked up on that in the previous books, that she's in such a trance that it takes her a second to focus again.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
So Lucy listens to all this, and then she starts to hear someone saying her name in the hallway, and she thinks it's Lockwood. So she starts walking down the hallway and trying to follow the voice, and then she eventually sees a figure and is like, Lockwood, is that you? And she keeps following the figure, and then she eventually runs into Lockwood, and it's the creepy dun dun dun. It wasn't Lockwood.
Yeah, I like that this teases a lot of what's to come in the next book, because we have them questioning in the beginning if it's a poltergeist. And then we get a little bit of fetch action going on where Lucy's being lured by what she thinks is Lockwood. Someone's just calling her name. Turns out it's not. So it's very much kind of ramping up to what we see in the next book, which is exciting.
I know.
So excited. Oh, and then all of a sudden, the books are attacking George. We hear him scream from the other room, and they make a joke about, like, oh, he probably just dropped a book on his foot as they're running. So it's like, he didn't.
No, I was kind of laughing because Lockwood is making fun of George the whole time, like, oh, he probably just dropped an encyclopedia, and then he shows up and he's like, oh, I know you're an avid reader, George, but like, this is a little messy, and then he gets chucked with a book.
He gets knocked out, and that book took that personally. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, I'm just thinking of a librarian going, read the damn book!
Oh, God. It's so funny. And you can imagine it. George is huddled down in a circle and all the books are like flying around, whacking things.
And I know they say it isn't a poltergeist, but like, it really seems like one.
Yeah, because this entire time I was like, oh, okay, it's just a regular ghost. They saw something. Then, oh, it's throwing things. It's a poltergeist. Oh, shit, it's a oh my God, it's a fetch. And it's like, just kidding, it's not. It's just a scary ghost.
It's just a weird ghost. There's got to be multiple things. I feel like this is a little too powerful. Maybe there's some other spirits that were there.
How many knives does it have? It already lost one on the desk. We know it has another one because it's scraping things up.
I didn't even think about that. This is like the Katniss Everdeen, endless arrows. This ghost has endless knives.
Yeah, maybe it's like the Percy Jackson where like returns to his pocket after he throws it.
True. The magical riptide? No.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Look at me go. I haven't read the books in so long and I remembered it.
We'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there, listeners. I promise. Hang with us for 4 more books. I promise it'll be worth it. Then Lucy is trying to pull him into the Iron Circle because the books are flying everywhere. George stayed behind and he actually did find out some information about the caregiver, which made me go, excuse me, what? That this caregiver was around like 100 years ago. He was wounded after the First World War. His arm was shot off. He had an injured leg. And he just was overall just insane. He used to stalk around the school, terrorizing the kids, and apparently used an old army knife and would wave it at any kid who crossed him, threatening to cut off their ears. What? And all I'm thinking of is that TikTok.
Okay, I feel like we skipped over something major, though. This guy's name, a caretaker, is named Harold Roach. You know he got roasted over that name. You know those kids were making fun of him. I don't blame him for waving a knife at them. Quite frankly, if I had that awful of a name, I would do the same. I would threaten to cut off their ears.
Alex, no. What about the Heralds that listen to our podcast? The Harold Roaches. What do you have to say to them, Alex?
Therapy's an option. One that you should take.
Yeah.
Also, you can change your name.
There is that. You could marry a really nice lady and then take her name.
I was gonna say go by Harry Roach, but you can't. You can't shorten your name to Harry either. Oh, you're gonna have to stick to Harold, but change your last name.
This poor dude. Oh my God.
Called him Harry Roach. I can't get over that.
What about Anita Man?
Yeah, that's an option if you want to change your name.
What were the other?
I can't think of the other ones, but...
Anyways, moving on. George is saying he's still here.
Dun, dun, dun.
After all of that bit about the school and this man that used to wave a knife around, Lockwood says, the great British education system made us what we are.
Yeah, just shrug off that trauma.
Lockwood, you probably weren't even schooling that long. Like, you didn't suffer through the 18 years of your life.
But we do learn this man's motivation, that he was basically embezzling from the school and collecting treasures. They think that he's in the cupboard where Lucy was being lured to. So now they have an idea of where he is. And the reason he was having personal beef with that plaque for Potts Library is because he was the man who basically called him out and was like, I know what you're doing, and he was scared of him. So yeah, that's why he was attacking the library sign.
Checks out. Just a salty ghost. What's new? George, actually, I love this part. He takes charge with a plan. And I love that in this part, Lockwood lets him lead.
Yes!
Yeah, Lockwood's being stupid at the beginning, but he is letting each of them do what they're best at in this short story.
My problem is, I love that we're seeing George get this, burst of leadership and wanting to take charge because he understands that Lockwood's out of it. He just got smacked in the head by a book. Lucy's freaked out because she was almost lured into the cupboard, so she's just, creeped out by it. This is not the George we know and love. Because in the last book, he was fighting with everything he got to not open the coffin. He was faking, oh, Lucy, you gotta do it. And then Lucy went into Bickerstaff's house, so it is Lockwood's turn. But at the very least, I think he would try to make Lucy do it.
You're not wrong.
Because where is this George coming from?
Miss Barrett's tomb must have been really terrible.
Yeah.
So they open the door, and we get a jump scare. Standard jump scare from Stroud. The mop falls down.
George has beef with mops. This is the second mop interaction we've had. First he was scared by Flo and then he got attacked by the mop, and now he is freaked out by the mop because he thinks it looks like a ghost.
So Lockwood's personal enemy is the baklavas. Not baklavas. Balaclavas.
Baklava, he's really not into that dessert.
No. No, we keep that in. That was good. Okay, anyways. The balaclavas. George's number one enemy is mops.
Yeah. We still have yet to find Lucy's number one enemy.
Communication.
Oh.
Not being judgy.
Yep,
Self-confidence.
Yep, there it is. Ding, ding, ding.
That's 3. Let's go. Lockwood and George, in the closet, they're trying to find this hidden cupboard and pop through it because they feel like the source is there. But the ghost is slowly coming down the hall, so they ask Lucy to go out and take care of it. And I will say, I love the description when she throws a salt bomb at it. It's such good writing.
Yeah.
I plucked a salt bomb from my belt and threw it hard and fast, so that it burst on the floor just below the glowing form. The brittle plastic snapped. Salt splattered out across the passage, flaring bright green as it hit the ectoplasm. The apparition flexed, distorting like an image seen in water, and blinked out, only to reappear instantly some distance farther away. Just like, ooh, that just
You can see it easily.
You could see it so easily. It's written so beautifully. Like, I don't know. I really like it. It was really well written.
I was going to say, I do have to say, it's Lockwood and George trying to find this hidden panel. I wonder if it would have gone faster if it was Lucy trying to find it, because in book 1 and book 2, she's found hidden doors. Why are they just not letting her take care of it?
Well, she has to have her badass bitch moment, and she is doing great.
It's
like,
true.
I'm going to be real.
Yeah, she uses a magnesium flare indoors. Has she not learned? In a school. Lucy.
I know. I'm wondering, like, I want to know, like, the space constraints for when you can use magnesium flares, when you can't.
I would love to know if anyone said anything, because it sounds like this damages the floor and the walls. Which, obviously, not a concern, because this ghost is throwing knives now.
Yeah.
He's throwing knives at Lucy.
A knife! No! This whole book, that's all I could think of is that meme. What do you have? A knife!
Yes.
No!
We need to include that clip because it is hilarious. But yeah, Lucy is doing some damage. She's vandalizing the school a little bit, but that's okay. And then we have her, I love this comedic, like, her checking in. They're like, we need more time. And she's like, well, how's it going now? And they're like, George has blisters and my hand is stuck.
She's like, I'm talking about the door, you dimbos.
And then we get a classic guy move. Lockwood says,
your weight might make all the difference, Luce. And she's like, what are you saying? And I just really...
yeah, not the thing to say ever.
I just really wish I could see this on screen, because I just know in this moment, Lockwood would be so flabbergasted. Like, he would be like, I didn't mean it.
This is like in the first book where he's like, the ghost is going after you because you're the weak link and you're the emotional one. And she's like, what? And he's
excuse me.
Yeah,
he's like, well, like, because of your talents, like, she's like, keep going. You're digging yourself a big grave there, sir. An empty grave.
Side eye.
Okay, there is a word mentioned in here. I have never heard it before in my life. I will take that as a dumb American move. Flummoxed.
Oh, I love flummox.
Because she says, I used a flare. It flummoxed him. Wow. New word.
I've never heard flummox used in that context. It's always like, I was flummoxed.
See, I always use flabbergasted.
Yeah, I guess I use perplexed, and yeah.
You do use perplexed a lot.
I do.
Alex is always perplexed. Addi is always flabbergasted.
That'll be a meme.
With my drawing of our surprised faces on stick figures. I need to know how tiny this room is, because they talk about all this stuff that's inside there. And I can't visually see how this room is set up or how big it is in my head.
Yeah, I imagine it's kind of like a cupboard. Oh, that was the dumbest thing I've ever said.
We gotta keep that in there.
Like a pantry that has shelves and stuff, and there's like just enough space for
oh my
someone.
god, no way.
Like
a cupboard?
There's just enough space.
Oh my god, and it holds stuff in it? Like a cupboard?
There's just enough space for someone to sit there and be smushed when they fall on him, which is disgusting.
I'm sorry, but I can't help but laugh. But what a dumb way to go out.
Oh, this poor guy, his head got smashed under one of his...
He's not a poor guy. He's not a poor guy.
He's a rich guy, or he would have been.
No, not even that. Like, yeah, well, no, he's technically not a, money-wise poor guy, but also he seems like he was a piece of work.
Yeah, he seems kind of like a little shit.
With the name of Harold Roach.
Harry Roach, what can you expect? Poor guy.
He had a bad life the whole time, and he even went out in the worst way possible.
Yeah, that really is embarrassing. Like, if you're gonna be a ghost, you kind of want a cool death, right? Like, eaten by rats, not great, but a very creepy ghost. Head smashed by a thing of coins, that's embarrassing.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, they eventually figure out what the source is, which the source is...
his body. I don't actually know.
So, I don't know either. I was hoping you'd tell me.
They said they landed on it. I'm assuming it's his body. They landed on his body.
The head was hidden beneath a heavy wooden chest.
Lockwood took a
So it was
silver
the head.
net and
It was the head.
Yeah, maybe. Unfolded it to its full size and laid it over the body. I don't think we actually know what part was
Oh, so it's probably just the body.
It's
So
just the body,
bones.
yeah.
So the source was the body.
Let me just ask. I know he was embezzling from the school. Why is the school keeping chests of coins around? It was giving very pirate vibes. It was like 100 years ago. I know you paid in money. You wouldn't be paying in coins and candelabras. Like, come on, man. Also, how are you hiding that? It's a big ass chest, like a treasure chest. People would see you lugging that around. I call shenanigans.
It's smart because, like, it's at the school, so he doesn't have to lug it outside of the school. But nonetheless, like, I want to know where the coins came from.
Do we think he's, like, bringing in a treasure chest at 3 a.m. and then, like, putting some coins in his pocket and he goes and, like, throws them in the chest, like, a candelabra from here.
I just imagine, like, all those comedy films where they show up to, like, a super creepy place and, like, it's, like, a jump scare that, oh, someone's living in the house and it's just the random creepy dude that's like, oh, yeah, I just have been living here forever. It's very cozy. Do you want some tea? You know, like, that's what I imagine this man was like. Like, hi, here's my treasure.
This
Let me
creepy
just
man.
hang out in my cupboard over here.
If only he had put that shelf up better, he'd still be around. Well, probably not. It was 100 years ago. But he would have been able to spend his money.
And then they say, oh, does anyone fancy a bun? Case well solved. We're done for the day.
Covered in corpse dust. Let's have a celebratory iced bun.
And then I like how after all that, who do you think was the lead in this case?
See, I think it's a tie between Lucy and George. Lockwood didn't do anything.
Okay, same. Lockwood didn't do anything. I feel like George did all the research.
Quite frankly, if we took George out of it, Lucy would have gotten to the cupboard. That's what she saw in the visions. She wouldn't have known why, but she would have gotten to the cupboard. Lockwood, clueless, wouldn't have known. George would have had, I think, problems finding the cupboard, but he knew the motivation. He knew who the bad guy was.
He would have been able to figure it out. But I just laughed that Lockwood, his crush showing severely, just says, well done, everybody, especially you, Luce. You did really well tonight. Made all the right decisions at every turn. And I'm like, excuse me, George made some right decisions.
Yeah, where's George's kudos? He opened the door first.
Yeah, I feel like it's a team effort on this.
He fought off the mop.
Yeah, he fought the mop. He was in the books, battling the books. And then she just is like, I was flushing a little. Sometimes I do that when Lockwood smiles at me.
Oh, I had to say something because I forgot I made a little note about this. Lockwood is complimenting Lucy, and then she kind of downplays it. It's like, it was a team effort. But I found a spelling error.
Oh, what? Where?
Yes. Okay, so it's on page 20 in my book.
That tells me nothing.
Yeah, because mine's online. It's when Lockwood says just desserts, I suppose. He shouldn't have nicked so much. Well, it's over now. It is just deserts, I suppose. Not desserts.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I saw that on mine. It's on the Kindle version.
Yeah. I just wanted to note that.
Do you want a round of applause? I'll insert a round of applause here for you.
Yeah, I do. I felt really smart about it. I almost sent it to
Let's
you.
all celebrate. Alex, she is our victor. She finds
Thank you.
the spelling errors. Thanks.
you. I'm reveling in this.
Oh.
Found myself a spelling error. Very exciting.
Anything for you. That's the end of the short story. And now we move on to our next portion because we will still do this portion for the short stories, the What If question of the week. So our What If question of the week is not really related to the story, but related to how the story is written. if you could write your own Lockwood & Co. short story, what would it be about? Like, what would the case be? What would the situation be? Would you have a crossover? What are you thinking?
Okay. If I could choose.
Scooby-Doo. I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's easy pickings. If I could choose something that we've already been introduced to besides Mrs. Barrett's tomb, I want the story of the pirate hand.
Oh, yeah.
We've never gotten that. Now, if I was to create my own, and I'm stealing this from someone on Twitter who posted this around Christmas. I want a Christmas-themed ghost where they go out on Christmas night and there's like a ghost of Christmas past situation. And they kind of do that, and they all learn something, and then at the very end, they just, like, go out of their way and have Christmas gifts, and it's adorable. That's what I want. I want a Christmas-themed ghost. Now, we did get a little bit of Christmas, Christmas vibes. We got Christmas vibes, holiday vibes, with the short excerpt that Jonathan Stroud posted this year, but I specifically want a Christmas-themed ghost.
You know what
That's
I want?
What I need. What?
I want one where they have to get, like, new pens or something for the thinking cloth. And one of them is a source, but they don't know it.
Oh my god!
And then the pen starts writing random notes leading them astray on cases they're working on.
I take that back. I want that one. Could you imagine if the pen was like another skull and it was like making rude drawings and they're like, oh my god. Like a client comes and they see it and there's like rude drawings on the drawing cloth, the thinking cloth. Oh,
it would be so
iconic.
good.
But yes, I could see him leading them astray, like, you know, Lucy writing to Lockwood, and he can mimic their handwriting. Be like, Lockwood, I went out to follow a lead. And it's like she's actually upstairs. Ugh.
Yeah. That would be really good. Leading him astray.
That's good. I changed my answer. I want yours. Yes.
I feel like that one would be good. I also, there are episodes, is it called a fishbowl episode? Where it's all in one set. It was when they were like, when TV shows were like trying to save money, essentially. I know it's like more TV context, but I would want some like short story like that where the whole case is like
the community one?
Yeah, like where they're stuck in Portland Row in one room for the whole episode. Like something's going on. Like kind of like the pen one, but the pen one they would have to like, I think they would have to like go out of the house. Like it would lead them astray outside of there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would be interesting where it's like a source they brought back and it just gets hurled into a bunch of other stuff. And then, like, this is where they're realizing they need to get Holly to help clean their place.
You know what I also want? Okay, sometimes I do these, especially for, like, medical shows or, like, medical dramas. They have the entire episode perspective through the eyes of, like, a patient or something. I know MASH did one.
Yeah.
A long time ago, whereas like through the patient's eyes and you'd see like the doctors coming, you'd see them on the helicopter and like you see them waking up for surgery. I want that, but through Skull's eyes.
Ooh,
So we don't hear any dialogue, we just hear Skull. We see like the plasm, we see like Lucy walking by and they're talking about a case and like he's sitting in the corner and the cloth's over him while they're talking to a client. Then like they talk about it, or later it's like dark outside and they come into the kitchen and they're arguing about the case, and then Lucy's talking and they're like, why is Skull mouthing stuff or whatever? And like, then they take him on the case.
Yes!
And I just want it all through his eyes. I think that'd be so cool.
Oh my gosh, you know what? You could have so many scenes that we don't see in the book. Like, for example, we could finally have the scene where Lockwood's randomly talking about Lucy's hips.
Yes! Yes! Oh.
And also, you bet your ass, there are probably scenes where George is complaining to Holly of like, oh my god, they're like this all the time.
You could even have George experimenting on Skull.
Oh
like,
my god. Yes, this would
400
be
volts
hilarious.
to nothing. Like, and you see like the plasma like, oh, that'd be so cool.
I think another like good like short story would be post Hollow Boy, Kip's being on a case with other agents that aren't Lockwood and Co. and his internal dialogue, because we all know Stroud secretly loves Kip's. Let's be real. He thinks he's a great character. I would want like kind of like a short story from Kip's perspective of not doing it with Lockwood and Co. and the whole time he's like, I miss those dweebs,
Yes, I would also even take an episode from Kip's perspective where he's just a supervisor and you just see, like, obviously there's a lot of CGI stuff in the TV show, but you would just see the actors, like, fighting nothing, because that's what Kip sees. He doesn't see anything, he doesn't hear anything. So it's just like Lucy being like, oh my god, did you hear the clinking? And then being like, I see it, I see something coming. And like them fighting nothing. It's just Kip's being like, like just staring at them fighting nothing. I think that'd be like such flipped on its head crazy.
Oh my god, I don't think I would emotionally survive that episode. That would be good. I'm trying to think of other like interesting sources you could have, but I thought about the thinking cloth one a lot. That would be really That would be really interesting.
I really like that idea.
Oh, you know what would be really funny if somehow there was an animal one, but it was like a cow, and like the source was like milk or something, and like they just start hearing
Just a ghost. I want the case of Brambles, the cat, stuck in the walls. And then, like, being very serious, and George being like, we need to lay down an iron chain, we need all this stuff, and then throwing salts, thinking that they're hearing stuff, and it's just a cat in the chimney. Oh, God.
Oh my god, that would be so funny.
George's, like, doing research, like, there could be a haunted brick, it could be from this horrible event that happened, and it's just the cat.
It must have been like an initiation for Lucy, where Lucy's like, no, guys, this is an important case. We really need to care about Brambles the cat. And, like, Lockwood and George are like, oh, yeah, we really need to care. And they show up, and they're, like, holding back laughter the whole time. Like, she doesn't know. It's not real.
Yeah, it's just the cat. There's nothing to say.
I'm going to be honest, I would do that to you.
That would be so funny. I mean, you'd have to be nice about it and not, like, bullying in a way, but, like, acting like a case is very serious and trying to be very safe, and it's just not, like, no one's in real danger. It's just a cat. That would be hilarious.
Yep. Yep. All right. And now to the next part, the favorite moment guessing game.
I think my moment for you is...
I'm trying to think of my moment, so give me a second.
Oh, okay. I think your favorite moment is the whole part when Lucy's throwing the salt bomb and how scenic it was.
Yeah, that is it. It's just really pretty. See, I don't always like the funny parts. I like the well-written parts sometimes. But you got it right, Alex. Way to go. High five.
Yay!
Yeah! Listeners didn't see, but Alex and I threw the video camera. High five!
It was pretty good.
Bestie power.
I'm impressed.
Pew, 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 pew.
All right, back on track. Back on track.
Okay, for you, do you have one?
Sort of? You're looking through my notes trying to find it?
No, I'm not cheating. You just said you were looking through your notes, and I was like, well, what if I just keep scrolling? What will happen?
Yeah.
God, I don't know. I'm going to get it wrong. I'm going to say...
It's not very clear.
I know this is wrong, but I really want this to be your favorite moment. Spelling error.
No, but I do like that. I think my favorite joke is probably Harold Roach. I just think that's so funny. I'm sure it's not meant to be a joke, but I just can picture the kids being like, here comes Harry Roach again.
I really hope a kid came up with that name. I really hope like
so.
when John Stroud was getting together this story and a kid was like, name him Harold Roach. And Jonathan Stroud was like, that's hilarious. Absolutely.
Because you know that kids would be drawing that in the bathrooms on the stalls. Like just a little cockroach. Like Harold under it.
Alex, are you sure you weren't the bully in high school?
I never drew on bathroom stalls. I was a good kid.
Uh-huh. Sure. Sure.
I was a nobody, actually. That's what I was. And I'm okay with it. But yes. Okay, now that we've finished the book, on our scale of 1 through 5 stars, what would you rate this?
I would probably rate it like a 3.5.
I'd say a 3. It's good.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, compared to the other books, it's not stellar, but it was fun. It was a fun little one-off one.
It's 42 pages. It's a one-off.
Yeah.
Will I read it again? Maybe. I don't know.
No, it's kind of fun.
It didn't really seem essential to the plot in any way.
No, it's just fun.
Which is what I like for, like, novellas and stuff. I would love more context in novellas, but I don't want them to impact the actual plot, because I don't think you should have to read them to get the gist and all of the knowledge of a series.
No, I think it's fine, because there's still the similar themes from our characters. We still get that Lockwood's being overly reckless. Lucy is kind of getting favoritism from Lockwood. George is still getting the butt of the joke every single time. And, I mean, I will say he's showing a lot more confidence after the Whispering Skull, because he was still kind of afraid to be confident in himself, I think, at the end of book 2. So it's kind of nice to see that, you know, this short story happens in between 2 and 3. So in a way, it's like, oh, George's confidence is back. This is good to hear.
I'm glad he's taking charge, even though I do think it's kind of out of character for him to open a door.
Yes.
We
love to see it.
Character growth.
Since it's the end of the book, do we want to say who our bestie is for this short story?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it for you. Harold Roach.
Our bestie. Our scary caretaker.
No, honestly, I think for this book, Lucy is going to be my bestie.
I think it's Lucy. I agree. She really stepped up.
We'll let her sit down. We haven't had her before, so welcome, Lucy, to the bestie train. Woot woot!
Yes, she joins George and Flo.
So nice. Lockwood, wait your turn, because you're going to have to wait a hot damn minute.
He's gonna have to wait.
You're not worthy of it yet.
It's not gonna be the Beck's book, let me tell you.
No. Listeners, I've read the next book. I'm scared.
Yeah, I think if anything, Lockwood's my least favorite character in the next book. Until the end. He's fine in the end, but who?
So listeners, just as a precursor for the next book,
Brace yourself.
be kind with us. Brace yourself if you've read it and you have a lot of opinions about characters. We do too. But you know what? I'm very excited for the next book, and I know we're kind of ramping it up, but I think compared to book 1 and book 2, book 3 is really good to discuss with different people, because I feel like everyone puts themselves and sees themselves in different characters and has a lot of opinions because of that. And I feel like that's what makes it a really good book, is because you can get so many different perspectives on who's right, who's wrong, what's happening, and it's so good.
It's a very gray book. It's very ambiguous on who's right and who's wrong, like you said, and it tugs at your heartstrings and makes you cry. Brace yourselves for that. We'll get there when we get there, and we'll be getting there soon. Next episode, we'll be covering The Hollow Boy Part 1, Lavender Lodge, Chapters 1 through 3. Get ready for a new ghost. I'm pretty pumped, but...
Pumped. With that, remember to follow us on Instagram at TwoBestiesRead, at Twitter or X at TwoBestiesRead. Gmail, you can email us at twobestiesread@gmail.com. And we also have a website. I'm plugging it again. It is linked on our link tree on our Twitter as well as our Instagram. Or if you really can't find it, just email us. We'll shoot it your way. It's great. It is a whole treasure trove of all our episodes, why we're doing each book, and that reminds me, I've got to update it for our next episode, which will come out in 2 weeks. Exciting.
Yeah, let us know. Send us some stuff if you believe you would be attacked by books in the library, or if you think this ghost has way too many knives and daggers. Let us know.
Would you also make fun of his name like Alex for being called Harry Roach?
Yeah.
Do you have a different 5-star rating system for ghosts?
Yes.
Are you also deceased at number 5?
Let us know books that you've rated 1 star. I am insanely curious.
Do you rate books 0 stars? What is your opinion on short stories or novellas? Also, we need to know, did you also think, a knife? No!
Or is our brain just rotted from Twitter and
TikTok.
And TikTok.
Did you also feel like this was a Scooby-Doo short story? If so, let us know. Also, does a pup named Scooby-Doo slap for you? Have you seen a pup named Scooby-Doo?
Okay, it's Mystery Incorporated where it's at. Even Carson agreed with me last episode.
I refuse.
She hasn't even watched it.
Did you even know the word flummoxed? Do you use flabbergasted or perplexed?
Did you also catch the spelling error? And did you get your just deserts?
Let's give Alex another round of applause.
Thank you.
Hey, Alex.
Addi, as always, thanks for being my bestie.
Thanks for being my bestie. And let's sing for our Alex. She found the spelling error. Way to go. We love you.
I love it. I want this to be my ringtone. Thanks for listening to TBR.
Be sure to follow us on the socials at TwoBestiesRead.
Got any suggestions for the other series we should look at? Email us at twobestiesread@gmail.com.
Join us next week as we read